Hi, my name is Jessica Hutter, and I interned at Heidi Miller Speech this past summer. And I feel that I have had a lot of successes at my internship. I interned for a speech pathologist, but I was not only able to learn about speech pathology, but I got to learn how to run a business since it was a private practice. I feel that I was very successful in helping update my boss's website. I redesigned the whole entire thing. I updated pictures, I took pictures for it, I reworded all of it, I made it more fun and easy to look at as opposed to just boring and someone uninterested in it. When I first was asked to do this, I thought, how was I going to do this? This was a very big challenge for me. I've never made a website before, created one, and I was very unsure how to do it, but I did my own research on the side and went to Google and figured out how. And so I took pictures as my boss was treating, and we got the consent from the patient's parents. So then I was able to upload the pictures and make it new because it hasn't been updated in a couple years. At the end, when I was done with my making the website, I felt very proud and very accomplished that I was able to do this. And my boss was extremely proud of me and very appreciative that I was able to help her and do this. Another thing that I feel was one of my biggest successes at my internship was that my boss really allowed me to interact with her patients and get to know them and really understand what speech pathology is and how to help people. She allowed me to help lead a therapy session with one of her older patients. On my last day, one of her patients was working on like confrontation and how to interact with other people and coming up with their own questions and asking things, and they had to do it all on their own. Like Heidi, my boss, did not help them really create the questions. It was more him trying to do it by himself. So he interviewed me and was able to ask me questions, and then I would answer him, and we would try to have a conversation that way. And she was hoping that by asking one question and me giving an answer, that would lead him to think on his own of another question that like was not necessarily written down on the page. So I'm currently abroad in Australia, and so he interviewed me, asking me all different questions about why I'm going, where I'm going, what I'm going to do, and that did actually lead to a very nice conversation. And Heidi was very proud that I was able to help him do that. I was also able to play different speech games with different patients that came in and really got to interact with them. I was stood as a speech model a lot of times and would listen to if they had trouble saying a certain sound. I would really listen to what they were saying because sometimes the speech pathologist hears it constantly and it's hard for them to always know if every sound is perfect. So I would listen and be like, I understood that as an S, or I didn't understand that sound, or it was really good, and so on. So this allowed me to really learn a lot. When Heidi had like very medically involved patients, we did a lot of research online about them, and like I would try to find articles and understand them, and then she would talk to me about, yeah, I really like this article. It talks about blah blah so and so. If this patient has a feeding issue or a speech issue, she really then like went into depth about every single patient's issues with me, and it was totally kept confidential between me and her, but I really understood what each patient's issues were and how we could fix them. Another thing that was one of my successes at my internship this summer, that I was able to create a group that my boss was able to send blast emails out. She did not have this before and wanted to send emails to all her clients at once. So sometimes if she needed to cancel a day or needed to inform them that summer sessions are starting on a particular day, she could just send one email out to all of her patients. So at first, like the website, I was unsure of how to do this, but thankful for Google, I was able to research this and really be able to help her, and I sat down and created it with her, and it has worked. We have sent multiple emails out. I feel that I have drawn a lot of connections between my coursework at Tulane with my internship. Although Tulane does not have a speech pathology path or major, they do have a major called linguistics, which I am currently majoring in, that has a lot of overlap in speech pathology, and Dr. Aurier, who is the head faculty member of the department, she really is like trying to come up with more classes for speech pathology because there are a lot of more students at Tulane really becoming interested in speech pathology. So far I've taken phonetics at Tulane, which is how certain sounds are produced and what sounds are alike and different. So with this knowledge, I was really able to understand the different speech disorders that the clients at my internship had. For instance, I was really able to understand. I was really able to understand how certain sounds were produced, like why an L would sometimes be an R, or like how you physically make the S in the mouth, like the tongue positioning, the tongue retraction, the lip rounding, the smile face. Like there's all these different things, and I was really able to understand this because of my phonetics class, with the help of Heidi really going into depth of everything before a client would walk in the door. I've also taken the nature of language at Tulane, which goes into detail of, it was like a brief overview of all the different speech parts, so phonetics, phonology, syntax, morphology, pragmatics, and semantics. So these connections also really helped me learn and understand what every client walked in the door had and how to help them. Um, my internship experience definitely will impact my professional goal, since my professional goal is to become a speech pathologist. My internship really allowed me to see what a speech pathologist does, and confirmed for me that this is what I want to become. I really want to be able to help people with certain disorders and to help them overcome them. I really enjoyed working with Heidi because she worked with children, and I really want to do the same. She also has a lot of special needs children, which is what I would like to specialize in one day. And I also developed such a good relationship with my boss, and I know that I'll keep in contact with her. And whenever I have questions or need advice, I can definitely go to her. For classes, I know I can ask her, oh, I'm not really understanding what this is. And like, I know that Heidi would sit on the phone with me for as long as I needed to explain it to me. I learned so much from her that I hope that I'm able to use all of this knowledge one day when I become a speech pathologist, and I can be just like Heidi and be as good as she is, because she runs a very successful business. I really also enjoyed how Heidi just trusted me so much. I felt that I was not just sitting around and observing the whole time. She really got me interacting with the patients, and I was able to like see really how business ran. I was able to answer her emails for her, fix her website, interact with patients, as well as like preparing all the materials for the patients. I would come in a half hour before the day started, before she was even there, to go through the charts to see what she would write down for what she wanted to do with them, and really prepare the materials for them. I would stay after for her. Whatever she needed, I did. I was really happy that she just trusted me and had so much faith in me. At first, I was a little nervous when she would ask me to find all the materials, because I was not sure how to, but if I got things wrong, she was able to help me, and she did not ever get mad or anything at me. Sometimes it was just easier for her to find a book because she knew exactly what she was looking for. But like, she would always then be like, this is how you find certain worksheets for learning the letter ER. And she really got to like teach me how to do it, and she would never just did it and never got mad if I got it wrong. I did more at my internship than I really thought I would have. I was really happy to learn about the business side of the company at Heidi Miller Speech, as well as the speech pathology side. I feel that that will be very helpful for me one day when I open up my own practice, if I wish to do so at that time. For my final project at my internship, I prepared for and responded as a social model to an interview with a 9-year-old child who had apraxia and language disorders. He interviewed me about my upcoming trip to Australia, which now I am currently at. I had to utilize some of the tools that my boss had been using throughout the last few months regarding appropriate responses from a language and pragmatic standpoint. So this was like amazing. She was so happy at me, how I did so well, and how the patient reacted so well to this, and the patient really enjoyed this and actually even asked me when I come back from Australia if I can come back in and he can ask me questions about my trip, because he really was so excited to hear everything that I'm doing. And I'm actually looking forward to interning for Heidi Miller over December break when I get back. I also helped reconstruct the website, including content and photos. This was a huge undertaking. During this part of the project, all of the individual aspects of services provided at Heidi Miller's speech are broken down for the readers and the patients. This was mutually beneficial because it helped me to understand the subtle differences as well. You can feel free to take a look at the website at HeidiMillerSpeech.com. Heidi was the best. I could not have asked for a better internship, and I'm really excited to come back to school and talk more about her and intern for her more, and hope other students at Tulane will take the opportunity to intern for her.